Hi theatre fans and welcome back to my channel. So I've just been offered a free complimentary ticket to go and see A Spoonful of Sherman at the Swansea Grand Theatre. So I thought it'd be a fool not to miss up on this opportunity. So I know that Sherman Brothers did music for Mary Poppins, which is one of my favourite Disney movies of all time, and a few other Disney classics as well. So I'll be interested to see what this musical is about. So I'm going to quickly head off now to Swansea and I shall give you my feedback on it.
Find the fun and snap. The job's a game.
I wanna be like you. I wanna walk like you, talk like you too.
These songs are about family, written by family, like Robert Sherman and Richard Sherman, better known the world over as
The Sherman Brothers.
Bang, bang, chitty, chitty, bang, bang, our fine four-fended friend. Bang, bang, chitty, chitty, bang, bang, our fine four-fended friend.
But to understand this family story, we have to begin with the Sherman Brothers' dad, Al Sherman, in the world of Tin Pan Alley.
Comes along, along, night and day, your heart is always Highland fling. You just begin to live, comes along, along.
The Sherman family wrote the songs that shaped us, nothing less than the songbook of our childhoods. Come on, let's crawl.
Gotta crawl,
to the ugly bug ball.
to the ball, to the ball.
And a happy time we'll have there, one and all,
At the ugly bug ball.
The wonderful thing about Tiggers is Tiggers are wonderful things. Their tops are made out of rubber, their bottoms are made out of springs. They're bouncy, trouncy, flouncy, pouncy, fun, 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 fun. But the most wonderful thing about Tiggers is I'm the only one.
Don't let him know why I must leave him, why I must go so far away. And the astonishing fact that you already know most of the words by heart.
Let's go fly a kite up to the highest height. Let's go fly a kite and send it soaring
There
up.
were so many fun classic songs that would emerge from those early Disney years.
For a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. The medicine go down. Medicine go down.
Oh, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, if you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Me old bamboo, me old bamboo. You better never bother with me, old bamboo. You can have me at me bumper shoe, but you better never bother with me, old bamboo. You better never bother with me, old bamboo.
Okay, so I'm back from seeing A Spoonful of Sherman at the Swansea Grand Theatre, a new musical stage show based on the life and times of the Sherman Brothers, who brought us wonderful hits for movies such as Mary Poppins, The Jungle Book and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. So earlier today, I had a phone call from a friend of mine saying that they were giving out complimentary tickets to go and see the show. So I went tonight at short notice to go and see the show, and I actually did sit in the front row, which was a great seat. I'll talk about that in a minute, for the current UK tour. And if I'm being honest, made me think that if they are giving out complimentary tickets, that the show isn't doing as well as they hoped, which sadly is the case when I went tonight. So when I arrived at the theatre, picked up my ticket, I was expected to be relatively full, but unfortunately they struggled to fill just the stalls. And I think maybe there was about 100 to 150 people in there. And I got to be honest with you, I did actually feel very sad for the the cast and crew, as in all fairness, it wasn't a bad production at all. I, in fact, actually quite enjoyed it. Now, I'm going to be honest, I was a bit reluctant about going to see this show, as I've heard of the Sherman Brothers and I do like their hits. I did have a quick research of the trailer online, which is on YouTube, and I will have placed it into this video before my my talking bit. And when I watched it, I thought, oh gosh, there's no band, it's just a pianist, and there's only 5 cast members. But I'm always open to seeing new shows, and so I went along, and I gotta say, I did actually enjoy it. And in fact, I feel it should do better than what it is currently doing. I don't know how long the tour is on for, but I will say now, if it does happen to come to your local town, it is worth catching, because I actually did enjoy it. It's a very short show. It's probably about, the first act was about an hour, as was the second. Started at 7:30, we were done by 9:30, with an interval as well in the middle, about 15 minutes. But I gotta say though, that even though it was a small cast, literally 5 actors, and I'll talk about them in a minute, they were on the stage constantly the whole of the time, for the whole 2 hours, literally just singing all the Sherman Brothers back catalogue. So the cast, as I said, were only 5 of them, and there they are. Now, I'll be honest with you, before reading the programme, I didn't know anybody in it, but I was blown away by the talent of these actors. They're just incredible. As I said, there was no band, just 2 pianists. 2 of the cast members were pianists. One also played a ukulele. And that was it. And there was a lot of a cappella, very barbershop quartet harmonies. I gotta say, the harmonies were absolutely incredible. They were so tight, all 5 of them. And there was no weakest link. Everybody had their turn to sing different songs, some duets, group numbers, solos. And everybody did a brilliant job, fantastic. So let's have a look at some of the cast members. So we have Sophie Louise Dan there, who was phenomenal. Very Cilla Black, crossed with Judy Garland, if you can sort of envision and imagine that. I thought she was just brilliant, such a powerful voice, and just blew me away. And having read her bio in the programme here, she's done a lot of shows, especially in the West End, recently in The Girls, or also known now as the Calendar Girls, Bend It Like Beckham, Maiden Dagenham. Unfortunately, I've not seen her in any of these other shows, but definitely one to look out for in the future. I thought she was just brilliant. And then you had the young lad, Glenn Facey, who again was brilliant. He did a couple of acrobatic flips for us on the stage. I'm not seeing him in anything before. He's done apparently Wizard of Oz, Mary Poppins, Moby Dick, Hairspray on tours here in the UK and abroad as well. And he's probably an up-and-coming actor which we should keep an eye out for. Also, another young actor was Jenna Innes. I'm sorry if I get your name wrong. I'm sorry about that. Jenna Innes. And she had such an amazing soprano voice. It was incredible. Just mesmerizing to look at and watch and to listen to. I thought she did a brilliant job. Again, not seen anything she's been in, but again, somebody to look out for in the future. Now, moving on to the 2 gentlemen, are the actors, the pianists of the piece, and I actually had a complete shock. I will show you them. So we've got Mark Reed and Ben Stock, and didn't realise until I actually read the programme in the interval. as I didn't get a chance to read it beforehand as I was chatting to some people I knew in the auditorium. Mark Reed was a member of the British UK band A1 from the 90s. Now, I do remember A1, and looking now at his bio and his face, I do recognise him from the band. And if you haven't heard of A1, YouTube the band A1, and you'll see all the different hits. And I gotta say, he was incredible. Mark Reed was just brilliant. He was going to play the ukulele as well as the piano, and had a brilliant voice, brilliant presence. You would never say he was in a pop band. He was very musical theatre through and through. And I was very, very impressed with his acting and singing and musical ability. Very, very, very impressed. And obviously, right in his bio, he's done a lot since A1. And it's just a shame, I'd be honest with you, I haven't seen some of the things he's done since A1. And then Ben Stock, well, he was just hilarious. He was the other pianist. And if I'm being honest, he was the main pianist out of the two. He kept playing all the way through the whole show. He'd also taken a couple of solos, songs as well. But he had the comedy numbers, and he definitely had the audience laughing and joining in with his songs. And he did a fantastic job. So, like I said, apart from obviously Mark Reed, I don't know the rest of the actors, but I thought they all did a brilliant job. So as mentioned earlier, Spoonful of Sherman is the story of the Sherman brothers and their rise and fame with their hits. And it starts off in their early years, before they became famous, where they wrote songs for other people. And I was surprised actually to how many people they actually wrote songs for, including Frank Sinatra. And they sang a lot of songs, which I'll be honest with you, I didn't know, but they were really good. I really enjoyed them, and I can imagine that the songs in the type of era would have been big hits. And then towards the end of Act 1 is where they started talking about Disney, how they got signed to Disney, and they started doing hits. Obviously, Mary Poppins, they sang a lot of Mary Poppins hit, ended on Act 1 with Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, which really got the audience going. And then in Act 2, they carried on with the Disney tradition of Jungle Book, and then The Aristocrats, and then they sort of, obviously because Walt Disney died around that time, Sherman Brothers got dropped from Disney, and so they went their own direction, and they actually came up with, back in 1995, their own musical, and which was going to be a huge hit in Broadway. So before going to Broadway, they were on tryouts in many different cities, and it was a big, big hit. And they came up with a musical called Lovebirds. And they had a big name from Broadway to star in it. And sadly, before it came to Broadway, the main actor actually broke his ankle. And unfortunately, a lot of investors pulled out of the show, and the show actually never made it to Broadway. There has been a revival in the UK with the UK tour many years ago, so they sang a lot of songs from that, and I gotta say it would be worth actually looking into. I certainly will be. It says the original Edinburgh cast recording Lovebirds, a new musical by Robert Sherman. And then before the closing of the show, they went into Chitty Bang Bang, did quite a few songs from that show. Truly Scrumptious, the old Bamboo song, Hushabye Mountain, before coming back for an encore and singing Let's Go Fly a Kite. So even though the performance was quite short, I gotta say, the time actually went quite quickly, and they flew through all these songs. I would probably say I knew about a third of them, but overall I did enjoy every song that they sung. I wish I had no more of them, as I probably would have enjoyed it even further. So I must talk about the staging of the show. Very, very small set, 2 pianos in the centre, and it is based inside the Sherman Brothers studio. And all around the outside of the studio would be props from different musicals. Like you had a kite on the wall, you had bamboo sticks in another corner, you had Sweets in a Jar for Truly Scrumptious or Mary Poppins, you had a music box, you had a record player, all different sort of nods to different musicals and genres of music that they have done over the years, and they were used or referred to throughout the whole production. So I happened to sat in the front row, and I was very lucky to get that seat, and it was a perfect view. In fact, all the seats would have been a good view from the stalls. It's just a shame that the audience was so small, because they did deserve a big audience, and it's obviously a lot difficult to perform to your best abilities when you haven't got a full house, because you do tend to bounce off the energy of the audience, and we as the audience gave our best for them, because they rightly deserve standing ovations and cheering and applause for what they did, because I thought they were really, really good, and I came out of there humming the songs. So if you do happen to get a chance to go and see it, please go and support A Spoonful of Sherman, as it's a great evening out with some great songs, with some fantastic cast members, well worth going to see. So if you have been to see the show or are going to go and see the show, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on it, so please leave a comment down below. And if you did like this video, please hit the like button, and if you like my other videos as well, please hit the subscribe button. I try to upload videos as often as I can. I have got quite a lot of shows to see coming up this year, so look out for those videos very soon as well. So until next time, thank you for watching, and happy theatre until next time. Bye bye.